Hello. Um, I'm going to talk to you today about transdermal magnesium and CBD oil and the hemp plant and this legislation happening around the country. A lot of what's happening is, of course, because of tobacco farmers no longer having their cash crop, and there's a void, and this void is being filled in with the hemp, and so these big swaths of power are kind of switching over, and so there is some very interesting potential in what this can produce for the future. My personal belief is that the CBD and hemp movement are just a gatecrasher effect, meaning that they are just here to help open the doors of the medical world into natural medicine. And some of these things are just like almost just the first impulse, where you need big players behind things in order to get some of these doors to open to a certain degree, and I think it is going to be successful. The hemp plant will, through her own divine comedy, will open that door up for us, and a lot of other natural cures will be showing up into the medical world. We're going to be breaking through a paradigm on medicine where people start to realize that we could have done a lot of this naturally. So, especially with deficiencies and understanding that as being one of the key features of protecting what you can protect. You can't change everything in your environment, but you can change what you have inside, and you can strengthen that. The CBD and hemp movement, I find, do connect to the transdermal magnesium movement in the sense that they work together. Without magnesium is more essential than the CBD oil. The reason is because you can't live without magnesium, whereas you can live without, the endocannabinoid, molecules. You can live without different types of plants. The plants can be great for health, but you can live without them, whereas the magnesium you cannot. And it's more essential, and the reason is because a lot of what CBD oil proposes is a kind of a reduction of inflammation in the body, and this is allowing for a certain type of, lack of anxiety. This is like a healing, like a parasympathetic healing process. But in order to get to that process, you have to have magnesium levels optimized, because the magnesium levels will determine the inflammation in the body. The body will always be inflamed if the magnesium levels are not optimized. So in doing this through pills will never work, because the pills, you end up only absorbing, 6% depending on the pill. And if you do absorb more than that, then you usually have to go through the renal system, which is another type of fatigue which happens in the body. So you lose something, you gain something, and overall it's not the best system. And the better system is to come through the skin, which is our ancestors, Greek and Roman, have already understood, using the skin as an organ, which it is. It absorbs not only magnesium, but it also absorbs vitamin D through the skin, etc. So these are two of the biggest deficiencies we talk about now, and it's all coming from a lack of understanding the skin. So whenever the CBD and oil and the hemp kind of magic, phyto-magic, active principles come into play, there's a preservation of what's called glutamine synthetase. So it's basically all these glycoproteins that are in the blood that thicken the blood, that have a nitrogen background or an ammoniac background, causing this kind of thickening and inflammation in the blood. Now, a lot of this ammoniac background is coming through, some of it's through protein synthesis or whatever, and a lot of the foods that we're eating that the body has a hard time deconjugating, or, there's so much stuff in our foods today. Even the soy-fed animals that are surrounding us, this is also hard for the body to make into, to catabolize. And so this glutamine synthetase is preserved through the usage of the CBD oil in forming the endocannabinoid system. And this has been studied. And this allows for a greater detoxification of that same ammonia that same ammonia which is coming through the bloodstream. So this ammonia is able to get out of the system. We're able to detoxify this ammonia out of the system, and the blood is able to flow smoother, and this is the reduction of this anxiety and the relief and the detoxification. It's all happening through the team power, like the power of what is that called? Cooperation, I guess. The power of cooperation between magnesium and the CBD oil. So they work together. One is going to be, helping the magnesium is going to set up the base electricity in the blood, and the base, magnesium, they come from the same origins, and there is electromagnetism in the blood. So it's going to set up this base magnetism in the blood, this base electrolyte transfer and health in the blood, which is going to allow for the right thickness as well, the CBD oil comes in there and helps the nerves open up. It helps the glutamine synthetase, which is taking place in the liver, to be preserved and to break down this ammonia. Now, the ammonia is also coming from aluminum, which is in the body. Aluminum is unbelievably present in the body, and it shouldn't be. But everything from vaccines to, that's the biggest one, probably. But it's also smelted in the air, concrete fabrication, water treatment. There's so many other areas where we find it that are very ubiquitous in our society. But vaccines being the biggest one, because most of us were vaccinated. So this macroaluminum has to get out of the body eventually. And so the body tries to get it out. And so it's very difficult. So you need a 1-2 punch in order to open up the body enough to get this stuff out. And the 1-2 punch is created by the base for the magnesium, and then the CBD, which comes and helps assist with the phyto element, like the plant. It's the plant and the mineral working together, basically. Get the order right in these things. Use them together, not at the same time, like I'm going to mix them and make, but do a treatment of transdermal magnesium, do a treatment of CBD, do them at the same time if you want, alternating or whatever. And this is going to have a multiplier effect on the detoxification. Now, a lot of people may say, well, detoxification is not just like all pleasure. And it's actually, we're trying to get things out of our body, which when we get older and our immune systems function less, we have a less efficient immune system, we're going to fall victim finally to these things that have been, plaguing us or whatever. And so this kind of prevention is to allow for it could take 10 to 20 years to detoxify some of this stuff. But it's allowing that stuff to get out to where we don't fall victim to these things and we stay free throughout the life cycle, free from medical enslavement and all these other things. So there's a reason for it, but it doesn't mean that it's just like everybody's all happy detoxifying. Detoxifying is intense too, and you can have little shakes in the hands. You can have different types of urine, fecal matter, things that are happening that you have to be aware of. And so it's not just a pretty process to clean all this stuff out, but that's what needs to be done, and we have to take that on. If we have the vitality to do so. A lot of people may not have that vitality anymore, and so they won't be open to any of this. But the younger generation may be able to, circumnavigate this problem in the right way. So that's the hope, is to free up the generations and bring some healing into the world. So come check us out. $12 a month. It's not expensive. You just have to know about it. We're the only original Zechstein Inside logo trademarked product. If you don't see the logo, it's not from the Zechstein. They're using the words abusively. Be careful of all the ancient and Zechstein and genuine Zechstein and all these self-certified logos and seals, and go straight to the source. You can actually call the source in Vindam, the city in Holland where this is all produced. We are completely transparent about everything. No one else will tell you the name of a city or anything about where they actually get their source from. And they definitely won't give you their number or let you call them. So anyway, trying to do the right thing, glass bottles only. Come check us out, theheartoftradition.com.